I don't know how to sing, but many of you know how to sing. So can you say, Kenya hakuna matata? Sindio? Okay, so go. Kenya nchi nzuri.
Hakuna matata.
Nchi ya kupendeza.
Hakuna matata.
Karibuni Kenya.
Hakuna matata.
I've done my part. Yes. So, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'm told there's a protocol that has been set, so I'd like to stand on that protocol and say how very delighted I am to come here, and especially to work for an organization that Martha has said so many good things about. So it shows that when I joined Echidna early this year, then I must have joined good company, if these are the decisions that they made. And I will surely take this message back to them, and we need to continue doing that because that is our mission. Very quickly, many of you are wondering, Echidna, it's called Echidna. Echidna is an animal in Australia. But the importance of that is that if you pronounce it well, it is Echidna, isn't it? So there's a kid there. And this kid maybe could have been a girl, and that is what brings us together. Echidna's vision is just to deliver on the promise of girls' education. It is one that is very akin to FAWE's mission. And therefore, I do not just stand here because I work with Echidna, but because it is a mission that I really do believe and agree in. And because I'm also in Nairobi, and this celebration is happening in Nairobi, please allow me to welcome you all from all corners of Africa to come here for this 30 years of celebration. This is truly a good moment. Allow me to just say three things. And the first is that as I stand here, this is both a personal story and a professional story. 30 years ago, when I was a student, perhaps like these young, beautiful women, young girls, ladies who are here, when I was in the university pursuing my master's degree, I happened to have a teacher. She was called Dr. Sheila Wamahi, a good researcher. I learned all the techniques of research, of thinking gender under her. And you know what? She was also a top-level consultant for FAWE, and when Dr. Eda Gashukia, who spoke over here, was starting FAWE. So there I am in the university, and I am able to be brought into these movements, this story of change that was happening in the continent, by the continent, for the continent. And I was a student. I think that as we celebrate the 30 years together, we need to retain that we are not a story of the established women who know the answers. We have to always ensure that we have her somewhere. Not just standing as an usher here. I think that is very important because when she's here, it is giving her a foot into this discussion. But more critically, we have to find a way of tooling and skilling these young people. So when I look out here and see the intergenerational facet of what has brought us together here, I am very hopeful. And I think this is what we have to continue. 30 years ago, had you told me I would be amongst esteemed queen, ministers, talking education, perhaps I wouldn't. But because Sheila started the Women Educational Researchers of Kenya, I was a member, became a chair, I'm able to stand here. So this is what I want of her tomorrow, and we have to retain that. The second reason why I think it is so important to have the young and the younger, I don't see any old person here, just the young and the younger working together, is that there's something about the youth that always invigorates. You know, they have so much enthusiasm that is infectious. Some of the older people will be talking, oh, you know, have we really done, Martha will be saying, have we really done political economy analysis? Power analysis. Do we understand these things? Patriarchy. Is it now gender responsive education? Or maybe we need to be talking gender transformative education. We get shackled by all these very weighty things. When you have the young, their clarity, I find, is very good. Because they will say, let's just do it. And they do it. So if we want to retain this movement, we have to be youthful in how we continue tomorrow. This celebration, and I finish, gives us a very good moment to reflect on the hits and the misses. It's also a good moment to reflect on the tensions. Allow me to bring one tension that I always hear mentioned a lot, and sometimes I feel that we as educationalists are not giving a good answer. And that tension is, what about boys? I sometimes feel that we seated over here perpetuate this tension because we are not analyzing where we are and where we need to go. For example, if we continue to just talk about parity, there will be a tension because the evidence is telling us that in most of our countries, not all, but in most of them, we are near parity. In some countries where you have conflict, drought, parity is still an issue. But for many, we are already near parity. Therefore, we need to move beyond access. We need to move beyond parity and to now focus on the subsystems that still continue to deter girls and still keep some girls, away from their dreams. Some girls still need a heavy push. And so we need to be suave in our analysis to ensure that we are looking at those layers of disadvantage that keep girls more vulnerable and away from their promise of education. So when I am asked, what about boys? I respond, if we focus on our most needy girl, boys too will benefit. Because when you focus on your most needy, in the language of the SDGs, if we shine the torch on the girl who is most likely to be left behind, then everybody else will benefit because they are already somewhere along the way. So by focusing on this one almost being left behind, it doesn't mean you ignore the others. And that is why I would like us, as women over here, who have said and identified that our course is girls, let us remain resolute in this dream. Let us not let down these powerful women, some of whom we have seen over here, who brought us together with their dream, because our work is not yet done. So let us continue in whichever spaces. I am in a kidney giving, and in that particular space, we will continue to be supportive of anybody who wants to ensure that this child who is most likely to be left behind gets her promise. And in focusing on her, we will actually benefit the entirety of our children. Thank you very much.